Imagine waking up one morning and realizing the worst kind of silence isn't a quiet street at midnight or a pitch-black room. No, it's the silence that hits when the entire world looks at you like you simply do not exist. Picture waking up to a reality where every single person who knew your name, your face, your voice, and your place in their life has just quietly deleted you from their memory overnight. You're not dead, you're not missing, you're just entirely erased from human consciousness. Like your life was quietly hit with the delete button while you were sleeping.
Now at first, you'd probably think it was some bizarre prank, right? You'd grab your phone, call your absolute best friend, the one who knows your deepest fears and your most embarrassing childhood stories. But instead of their usual warm greeting, they answer with this polite, distant tone, the kind of chill usually reserved for a total stranger in an elevator. Sorry, who's this? The second those words hit your ears, something deep inside you would just freeze. Because the human mind can survive a lot, but it completely breaks down when reality itself starts to crack.
So you frantically try again. You call your mom. You're waiting for her to pick up, absolutely desperate for that immediate, unconditional warmth. But instead, you're met with hesitation, caution, and then the most terrifying sentence you could possibly hear. I think you have the wrong number. In a matter of minutes, it hits you. It's not just the wrong number. It's the wrong person. It's the wrong life.
Part 1. The morning you vanished. You rush outside, your heart is pounding out of your chest, and you're just trying to prove the world is still normal. But the local barber, the regular grocery cashier, they look right through you like a ghost. Every word you say falls into an absolute void, and that is exactly when the real panic sets in, because you realize you literally can't even prove you exist. You run back to your family home, which, by the way, suddenly feels like a place you just wandered into by accident, and you grab your childhood photo album. You're pointing to yourself in the pictures, standing right next to your parents, desperate for just a shred of physical proof. But they just stare at the images, look blankly at you, and deliver this crushing blow. That's not you. I don't know who that is.
The sheer scale of the digital and physical collapse you'd be facing right now is just staggering. I mean, you try everything: emails, social media, ID cards. But your passwords? They don't work. Your security questions are completely scrambled, like your own personal history got rewritten. Your bank treats you like a total stranger. Even the photos on your phone have you missing from them, or they're altered in ways nobody can explain. Your physical and digital anchors are just gone, leaving you with these completely overwhelming odds stacked against you.
Part 2. A ghost in reality. Let's say you visit your best friend's house. You stand on their doorstep, recounting a shared secret, maybe a terrible movie you both laughed through, only to watch their face slowly shift from uncomfortable to cautious and then to downright protective fear. To them, you're not a friend. You're a stalker who somehow knows way too much. Your heart just shatters. This exposes a really terrifying paradox when it comes to recognition versus recollection. Sure, maybe some obscure government database somewhere still has your fingerprints or a random paper trail, but a machine confirming a person-shaped record once existed? That's a hollow mercy. It completely lacks true human connection. Being a name on a piece of paper means absolutely nothing if you aren't actually known and remembered by another living soul.
And this leads right into a spiraling existential dread. If everyone forgot you overnight, well, what happened to the life you actually lived with them? You wander through your old neighborhood, past the swing set where you learned to pump your legs and push yourself higher, and you're haunted by one massive question. Did your parents ever truly raise you? Or are you now standing in a universe where your entire childhood was just torn out of the fabric of reality, like a page ripped from a book? Everywhere you go becomes evidence of a life literally nobody remembers.
Part 3. The deliberate erasure.
But wait, what if this wasn't random? What if the world isn't just losing its memory, but is actively correcting itself to erase you in real time? You start to realize maybe you were never supposed to exist at all. So you stop trying to convince strangers, and you start trying to figure out why. You dive deep into online archives, forums, buried news stories. You're looking for mass memory failures or unexplained disappearances. And suddenly, you start finding patterns, a specific date, a recurring symbol, maybe a strange sound heard by a handful of people right before everything changed. And then the horrifying truth finally dawns on you. You didn't just slip through the cracks, you were specifically chosen.
Part 4. The spark of memory.
Nighttime is definitely the hardest part. As the sun sets, you shift from absolute despair to this desperate singular hope. You're lying awake, wondering if anyone, anywhere, has even the faintest trace of you left in the back of their mind, just like dust on a shelf. And then you find them. Maybe it's a former teacher, an old neighbor, or a grandparent who looks at you for a really long, silent moment, and they say, "I do not know how I know this, but I feel like I have dreamed about you." Let me tell you, that sentence hits you with massive emotional relief. It means the forgetting wasn't perfect. It's the very first crack in the wall of this global memory wipe, and you cling to them like a piece of driftwood in a stormy ocean. So, the really crucial point here is what you discover when you actually compare notes with this one person. You realize the forgetting began at the exact same hour everywhere. And here is the ultimate twist. You weren't some random victim. You were the key. Maybe you stumbled into a secret lab or saw a machine, a frequency, some hidden layer of reality you were absolutely never meant to see. And to protect itself, the system completely wiped you from the collective consciousness. The witness became the target, and the target became a ghost.
Part 5. Fighting for your truth.
Think about it. If the system can forget one person overnight, it can forget entire histories. You have to make a choice. Do you hide, or do you fight to stop this before memory itself is destroyed for everyone? Your loneliness transforms into fuel. But to fight back, you have to survive this harsh new reality. First, you've got to find food and secure shelter. Second, you have to move without drawing any attention from authorities, because to the police, you're just a confused, undocumented trespasser living a life that doesn't exist. And third, trust only your own instincts. You are completely invisible to the usual systems now. No one knows your debts, your mistakes, or your weaknesses. You're stripped down to your absolute rawest self. And trust is a luxury you literally can no longer afford.
This whole journey forces us to look at a really profound philosophical takeaway about what a human being actually is. We aren't just made of flesh and bone, right? We are composed of the stories other people carry about us. We are mirrors reflecting other people's recognition. When those stories vanish, a part of our actual self begins to collapse. This terrifying ordeal forces you to realize the immense foundational value of simply being seen and recognized by the world around you.
But here is the real emotional core of this explainer, the truth that really brings this all home. Even without the world's validation, your feelings didn't just disappear. The love you gave, it was still real. The laughter still happened. The promises you made to yourself absolutely still matter. The effort still counts. We don't actually need perfect memory for life to have meaning. The big lesson here is to hold on to your own truth so tightly that not even a global forgetting can take it away from you.
And that brings us to the conclusion of our narrative arc. Yes, there is absolute terror in being edited out of existence. Nobody is denying that. But there is also a hidden gift buried deep inside that nightmare. If you survived this, you would never, ever take recognition for granted again. You'd understand exactly how fragile identity is and how miraculous the simple beauty of human connection really is. You would literally never hear a simple "I remember you" the same way ever again. Being remembered is basically the invisible thread that ties us all together. It's the quiet proof that we are not alone in the dark. So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with one final question to chew on. If everyone in the world forgot you tonight, what would you do first to prove that you were ever here? Would you run? Would you fight? Or would you just become the ghost nobody sees until it's already too late?